YouTube beef. Now, when I talk about YouTube beef, I'm not talking about a tenderised part of the cow that has yet been undiscovered, slightly more tasty than topside and a little bit more tender than silverside. No, I'm talking about one channel slandering another channel, whether it be for somebody wants to vent their spleen and get something off their chest, or whether it be for the reason that they just want to gain a bit of notoriety and hopefully bump their views and subs up. Now, ever since I've been doing this YouTube thing, I've got kinda caught in the middle of two different sectors of YouTube beef. The first one happened some time ago, a number of months, and another one was a little bit more recent. Both of which were on completely different scales, but at the same time and token, equally as damaging, if not one a little bit more than the other, in different ways. If you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, then allow me to retort. The first one a number of months ago, I was kind of scanning through my inbox and I noticed that a gentleman who is essentially an air quotes friend of mine on YouTube had released a video. So I clicked on the video and I went through a three-stage process which I always go through. Number one, if I know somebody who creates videos and I enjoy their content, I like the video before I've even watched it. The second stage is I watch it, and the third stage I leave a comment. Sometimes it goes to a fourth stage. If I really enjoy the video, I'll give it a favourite. So away we go, and it was about 3 to 4 minutes into the video, I suddenly realised that I maybe was a little bit hasty with the like, as the video contained some, let's just say, content that was probably not pleasing to another person who I equally know just as well within my community, and that kind of left me with a little bit of doubt, worry and intrepidation as to what was going to happen next, because my YouTube account is attached to my Twitter account, and when I like a video, it shows up on my Twitter. 3, 2, 1, yep, there's my DM in my inbox, and it's from the guy in question who was at the receiving end of this beef, and he simply asked me the question, why? Why did you like that video? And I simply had to do something which I never really like to get put in the position of doing when I'm backed in a corner. I had to explain my way out of it, and I simply said, look, it's my process, it's the three-way process I go through. Unfortunately, I didn't realise what the content contained, and I clicked the like before I watched the video. Now, in respect of the guy who released the video, he kind of had a couple of valid points which he believed and maybe felt the need he wanted to get off his chest. However, me clicking a like seemed as if I was in support of it. This is between you two, it's nothing to do with me. You've got to get your shit together, sit down, talk it out, slug it out, whatever you're going to do, but find a solution before it gets out of control. Now, the aftermath is this. The guy who released the video then went on a month or two later to put a video on somebody else's channel. The person whose channel he put the video on is kind of seen as the granddaddy of all of us, even though I'm a little bit older than him. He's the one we all look at as the sort of godfather. And unfortunately, this beef kind of carried over to his channel because the person that he had slandered in his previous video followed him to that channel. Hopefully I'm not losing you here, but keep up if you can. Now, I know he felt bad about this and he was very regretful and kind of asked for my support in clicking a like on it, which I did quite happily, and I watched the video and it was a good one. But I felt bad for the aforementioned person whose channel this was featured on. Therefore, it kind of created an aftermath which was unnecessary. It's just a simple case of tit for tat. And the problem is within our community. When you stand there and you're the owner of a YouTube channel and you start gaining subscribers and followers, you almost become this state when you get into a war of like a general, and your subscribers are almost like your infantry. So if somebody slanders you, your subscribers immediately jump on the bandwagon and start the attack on them, and so on and so forth, until it turns into a full-scale riot. Essentially a lot of fun for the keyboard warriors, but at the same time kind of damaging to channels, and it needs to be avoided. But I still love the two guys all the same. Now, moving on swiftly to the more recent one, I was asked to feature on somebody's video. Somebody asked me to do a commentary over a kind of series they do where they get guest speakers in to narrate over the top. I accepted quite happily because I like the guy whose channel it is. So, as an example, he sent me over a video in my personal inbox, and I did the usual three-step thing again. I sat down, I clicked like, I watched, and I commented. Now, the thing for me was the video was actually really funny. The guy who was narrating over the top, I didn't even check his name, I didn't know who he was. Yet, again, I got caught up in the middle of the problem that my YouTube channel is connected to my Twitter feed. So, when I went over to my Twitter feed, there was a response on there from somebody who has a substantially large YouTube channel and said, why? Why did you like that video? Now, that's all well and good. I didn't quite know the reason, I didn't understand, and I sort of asked, I don't know, why not? You know, I don't understand, you not like this person? I tried putting my case forward, but unfortunately he didn't want to listen. Now the fact that he unsubscribed from me and followed me, I found quite sad. Not because he was a large channel. It doesn't matter to me whether he had 10 subs, 50 subs, or 50 million subs. The fact of the matter is this guy stopped following me because I'd hurt his feelings. Maybe felt I'd gone against him and went in support of something that I didn't quite understand. So I went over to the channel of the person who made the video. This person was in fact a kind of Keemstar wannabe. His videos were primarily based around discreditation and nastiness aimed at larger channels, with naming, shaming and things like gay and faggot in the title. Now even though I was slightly butthurt that somebody didn't want to kind of listen to my end of the tale and maybe give me a chance to explain what I thought was going on, I had to delve deep, sit down and have a think from an adult point of view what I would do. If I was in the same situation, how would I react? What would my responses be? And it didn't take me long to think of one thing and one thing only. My family. Because the difference with the first scenario of YouTube beef and this one was that it actually put his Twitter name in the title of the video. So therefore, anybody who went on Google and typed in this person's name would probably find somewhere down the line this video was one of the options. This is when you have to kind of take a step back, rein it in and think, what would my reaction to this be? If somebody made a video about me, and they put my Twitter name in the title of the video, let's say for the sake of argument somebody felt they hated me enough to do a video titled Apocalypse is a filthy Xbox Ahoy wannabe fag who takes it up the ass by leather-clad transsexuals whilst enjoying the pleasures of being burnt by lit cigarettes. My first reaction would be, my God, you've got Friday night sorted, now have a guess what I do on a Saturday night. You know, I'd laugh about it, it doesn't bother me. I'm old enough and ugly enough to let my shoulders carry me. However, reverting back to what I said before, I'd have to really think strongly and think about something a little bit more deeper. I am married with a 4-year-old daughter, and my wife, for all of her faults, thinks I'm a bit of a dick. She loves me, but she still thinks I'm a bit of a dick. On a regular basis, when I try to do something nice for her, I generally screw it up and she calls me a knobhead. However, on the other hand, my 4-year-old daughter thinks that I am Superman. I am Jesus Christ himself. If she wakes up in the night from a bad dream, she climbs in Daddy's side of the bed and cuddles up. If one of her toys gets stuck behind the sofa, she comes and sees her dad to pull it out. And if me, my daughter and her mother are out doing a shopping trip, and the guy I used to work with the big bushy beard and the big black hair comes walking over to say hello, she looks at him petrified. Guess who she stands behind for protection? Because when Daddy gets cross and Daddy shouts, it's like Almighty God has parted the clouds and screamed from heaven up above. I am fucking Zeus. Now, one day, my daughter's going to hit the age of, 12, 13, 14. She's going to eventually have put 2 and 2 together and realise that when Daddy puts his headphones on and talks to the computer screen, he's not a raving madman, but he's doing it for a reason. So, she might want to show her friends his YouTube channel. Proudly maybe. Who knows? Now, when you click on Google and type in Apocalypse, the first 3 options are Apocalypse YouTube, Apocalypse Twitter, and Chaos Silencer's Top 5 Plays of the Week featuring Apocalypse. Now you'll notice that the third one is a video that isn't mine. It's come before my Social Blade stats. For whatever reason decided by Google, it put that one above everything else. That's fine, that's cool. I don't mind, it's not a bad thing to be associated with. However, if she was to click on there one day to show her friend, and all of a sudden be faced with a video that was titled Apocalypse is an Xbox Ahoy wannabe fag who takes it up the ass by leather-clad transsexuals whilst enjoying the pleasures of being burnt by lit cigarettes, there's going to be a couple of feelings that are going to go through her body. The first one, joking aside, is going to be sickness. The second one is going to be one feeling of disappointment. And the third one is going to be one of disbelief. Disbelief that the father that she loves and respects so much, and in her eyes has this vision that when I do the hoovering around the house, I lift the sofa with one finger, does in fact engage in disgusting sexual acts whilst enjoying a mild tobacco fetish. All jokes aside, realistically, I don't want my daughter to see anything like that. I know I've took it to the extremes, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Okay, so somebody puts a video up and they've got a bit of a dispute with somebody else over the way they run their channel. Fine, it can be swept under the carpet, dealt with, draw a line under it and move on swiftly. Or may the beef forever continue, and eventually the hate from one channel to another will die out and people will just get bored. But when it comes to something with linking somebody's Twitter name in and it's quite vile and nasty, that's when things change. And I know, I can hold my hands up and say, do you know what? I've put David Vonderhaar in my description, I've put Raw Instinct in my description, but it was a bit of jest. This is the aftermath. This is what people don't understand. So I guess on a final note of thought, there's only one thing really left to say. It's not like the person who unfollowed me is ever likely to see this video, but if he ever did stop by just to see what was going on, I'm not mad at you. I kinda get where you're coming from. I wish you all the best in your endeavours. Remember, fortune favours the bold. I'll see you later, guys. Apocalypse done.